everyone, welcome to the stream. We're going to be doing a VOD review, another VOD review today. This one also comes from Reddit, just like yesterday's. We've got heroes played here. We've got D.va, so they're only going to be playing D.va. Their skill tier / rank is gold 2. They say this is the highest I've been in Overwatch 2. Most of the time I'm silver 1 to gold 4. The map is King's Row. This is on PC. And the description of the match is, "Hi guys, I'd like to appreciate your feedback. I'm mostly playing tanks and trying to climb. In Overwatch 1, I used to be silver / low gold. In Overwatch 2, I've been mid-silver to low gold. I've been watching A10 guides trying to improve as a tank. This was one of the games where I'd love your review and feedback on what I could have done better as a tank to cap the first point on offense on King's Row. We've struggled on defense, but managed to put up a decent fight. However, first point on offense went poorly despite us pushing through a choke a couple of times. I'd also like to main a handful of tanks, Zarya and D.va, Sig, when necessary Orisa." I don't know about Orisa. Orisa is if you want to have fun, that's not the pick. But I'm more interested in how to change my playstyle considering my and the opposite team instead of counter swapping. So before we even get into this VOD review here, I'd like to mention that while you can watch different guides on how to play certain heroes or how to play better, keep in mind that most of these guides are from top level players, so you're not going to be able to do all of the things that they're mentioning. Now D.va might be a little bit different. Her mechanics are pretty straightforward. The only thing is you see a lot of these high level players, going in and basically their team is prepared for them to do this stuff, but in your low silver or low gold, whichever rank you're in at that time, and you're not going to have as much communication most likely if you're not playing with a 5-stack, and that's something to keep in mind. You're not going to be able to pull off these insane plays unless, usually if you have good communication. Now, if you're on comms all the time, good for you, but it's not, you're not going to be able to expect that every game. Again, this comes from r4/Overwatch University. I apologize, but I'm not going to try to say your name. Yeah, your in-game username is MaxXL. I apologize. I'm not going to try to say your name. I don't want to offend you or anything. But let's get right into this here. Again, we're playing D.va in Gold 2 on PC on King's Row.
Now and ready for battle.
Let's find you
I
here.
can't believe I fell for all that anti-op trap.
Playing Zarya. Thought you said you played D.va. Alright.
A7000 Wargod online. Standing by.
Particle cannon online. Let's run them over.
So I don't mind this holding spot here on King's Row, especially on Zarya. I'm interested to see where you go here, whether or not you stay here. What I would do, you say you play D.va. I'm assuming that you probably get rolled here or switch immediately. Now, what I would do in this specific situation, if you want to play Zarya on this map, it's not impossible. But in this specific choke point here, I would hold to the right of just right exactly on that wall. Or if you need to fall back, you're going to play around the point specifically, and then try to play walls as much as you can, especially on this map, with it being so confined, and the only really place you have to move is up. So that Zarya is at a distinct disadvantage without movement abilities.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
I forgot to say, I am a D.va main. I main D.va. I am low diamond currently. I am still climbing though, so I feel like I have a lot to give here.
Keep it coming!
Maximum power!
So, right now, what we're going to do is we're just going to go into this wide spectator view because it's kind of hard to see everything from just your perspective. I mean, look at your team here. Your Ashe is dead. Now, obviously, you don't know this. I mean, you've got their whole team is in your face, doing whatever. I mean, you've got both supports looking at you, so you're going to be okay, assuming this Torp can get a few picks, which I tremendously doubt here. So we're going to slow down time here and sort of watch what happens. Now, you do survive longer than I thought you were, so props to you. Now, what you're not noticing here is your Torp's gonna... Oh, the Torp got out of the way. That's good. Now look where you are. Look where you are here. I don't know if this is a normal thing for you, and it looks like you realized what you were doing. You know, you got a little aggressive here. Now that Hanzo could shred you if he gets all his headshots in. Now with it being gold 2, I doubt that, but we'd have to see. But their whole team is over here, and you're over here not protecting yours. Now, I don't claim to be a Zarya main, but for the most part, I would expect a Zarya to stay sort of in front of her team, not really taking these aggressive pushes, not necessarily this aggressive per se. But let's get back into what we're seeing here. Now, see, this entire time, their Zarya, is in front of their team. The Lucio is still back here. She doesn't have any of her supports. You could have been over here, albeit maybe the supports would have still been over there, but your team isn't really doing much. So I would have stayed more in front of your team here. Let's see if she gets a pick or not. She gets the turret. Now you're both are somewhat low. Now that was a nice kill. Nice kill. I believe you said you held pretty good on the first point of defense. I could be wrong though. You're getting a little too aggressive here for my liking. When I play tank, more specifically someone who doesn't have a lot of movement abilities, I tend to, especially because that Zarya is going to be coming back soon, that Soldier's going to be coming back soon, so you're going to be 1v5ing their team. You might get this Ana here. The Ana is dead. Now you do make it back. The Juno helps you here. But that is a wasted speed boost, which I don't think is going to come back and haunt you, but it's definitely something to be aware of. If you do push in and let's say you didn't get that kill or she slept you, now that's where your problem's going to be. Now here comes the Reinhardt here. Now they've already swapped to counter you. And that is good on their part. And let's see how you handle this here. Now it seems like the Rhine just holds up his shield the entire time, so I don't think you're gonna have much of a problem. Assuming that your team can help you out here. Now your team is already kind of low back here, and you're kind of you're still separated from your team. Your team is playing a little too far back for your kind of play style, it seems like. Now here comes the Reinhardt. The Reinhardt's not going to get anybody.
I'm going
That's a good ult, but the Lucio's obviously going to counter you here. So, kind of a waste of an ult. You tried, but unfortunately that Lucio had his ult. A nice kill on the Reinhardt there. In most circumstances, as you climb, I know you said you're as high as you've ever been. These Reinhardts are going to get better and better. So, obviously not much you can do. You haven't been sent back to spawn yet, so... It's a good Torbolt that stops the Lucio from hopping around. And he's nanoed, so be a little bit careful there. That's a nice, good kill on the Torb there. Now here comes their team. Now you've put their team back. Nice. I like you fell back there. Get some of that early ult charge. I like that. Not ult charge, team charge. My bad. Good. You notice that where they're going. Good. Now, you heard the soldier ult, right? Look at where your team is right now. Now your Ana, not really sure what she's doing, but I think she's not going to survive this ult if she goes into it, obviously. But again, look at where your team is here. The soldier ulted. Your entire team is forced to come back. I think that you pop here. You stand in this Hanzo ult. You heard the Hanzo ult. You didn't really look around, albeit you have the Reinhardt in your face, so I don't blame you for that. But there we go, and there you go. You pop. Would I necessarily say that that is entirely on you? Do I think that you are at fault? Not necessarily. You were distracted with the Reinhardt. Maybe you didn't necessarily realize that the soldier ulted, forced your entire team to come back, and the Hanzo ulted at the same time. So, I mean, that's just an unfortunate series of events for you. I can't blame you there entirely, but just going forward in this sort of situation, I think you could have held this. This Reinhardt is honestly not very good, at least from what I've seen from them. Had you have realized that the soldier had ulted and maybe you bubbled one of your teammates, maybe they could have stayed out a little while longer and maybe gotten that kill. He is kind of low, so we'll see what happens here. Obviously, your entire team gets put back. Where's your Ana at? That's their Ana. My bad. Now, let's go back to your POV here. I like that you bubbled your teammates. A lot of times in these low ranks, you don't see a lot of Zaryas bubbling their teammates. And that is good on you for that one. Not only does it give you more beam charge, because at least in lower ranks, people are still going to shoot your bubbles, even if you bubble your own teammates. More often than yourself, because, you know, you see a Zarya, oh, she's bubbled, I'm not going to shoot her. Oh, I see somebody else that's bubbled, I'm just going to break that bubble and try to get that squishy. But that gives you not ult charge, that gives you beam charge, and you come back in, you get that that kill. That's it. Now, here's what I think is going to happen here. You came out a little bit a little early here. Now your team is out. However, look at where your Ashe is. Your Ashe is over here. Your Juno's over here. You guys lost the point. Now you, the Torb, and the Ana, you should not have come up this close. Do I think that you would have survived this? Would you have had a better chance had you have gone back with your team? Maybe. But their team was already there. They're already taking map control. I mean, notice how aggressive this Reinhardt is being. If your whole team was here, I mean, you could punish him. But I don't think that's going to happen unless you're on against sleep here. Okay, that's a good sleep. And he shatters your Ana. Your Torb is already dead. Your Ashe isn't helping your team. Or helping you, as she's over here, sort of lost. Maybe she's getting a couple of shots over on that Hanzo, but your Juno is still all the way back into spawn. So you're just kind of split up here. It's just kind of unfortunate how things panned out. What I would have done is maybe realized, okay, my team is separated. I'm going to go to the right. And if I go to the right over here, here we are. We're back with the Ashe. And maybe if you're not in comms with your team, maybe mark a couple times where you're going and hopefully they follow you. I think the Ana would have followed you. I'm not sure about the Torb. Yeah. So that's just unfortunate with your team being so split up. So let's go back to your POV here.
You have my thanks.
So you kind of wasted your bubble here. There's no one really around. Maybe you get this. No, you don't. You get hit with the fire strike. So the only thing that I've really noticed so far that you're doing wrong is maybe in this specific instance, you know, your bubble usage was kind of off. Again, I don't claim to be a Zarya main, so... Again, kind of a waste of a bubble here. You're really not going to get much charge. I mean, you got a little bit with that. Let's actually see how much you got here. Where did you go? You got 43%, which isn't bad, but their team is nowhere near you. I would really do that if, you know, you're getting walked at by the soldier or the Reinhardt. Again, the Reinhardt's going to counter you. In this specific situation, you mentioned, let me pull up your post here. You want to play Zarya, D.va, Sigma, or Orisa. Orisa is always a viable pick, and not necessarily a pick that I would necessarily recommend because I feel like Orisa is unhealthy. You really don't do much on Orisa. You just kind of stand there. It's sort of a solo tank. If that's what you enjoy, that's all you... that's your own choice. But I believe that Orisa would be a good pick here. You can not only help your team more at range, which is what you have a poke comp here, while you're playing more of a brawl. And Reinhardt is going to beat you in every one-on-one brawl. Any good Reinhardt, I should say, will beat you in any one-on-one brawl. Unless you have full charge and the Rein shield is already broken, but that's besides the point. Your team, other than the Juno, is not going to be able to help you if you go in and try to brawl their team. And from this range, you're not really doing anything. Right now, you're just the team punching bag for the 2 DPS. Which, I mean, that's not any different from any other tank. But I digress. If you'll give me one moment here, I need to turn down my volume. I meant to do that earlier. But... So, you got slept. Your whole team is back here again. If you're going to play with your team comp here, you mentioned wanting to play with your team more. At least that's what I take it to mean. Play Orisa. Ramatra would obviously work great against this Rein, albeit he's not super outwardly aggressive in most situations, but Ramatra is a great way to punish a Reinhardt that is a little bit too aggressive. Now here comes this soldier in this Mercy, and since you're over here and your team is over here, he's going to get a bunch of free kills. Albeit the Juno ulted, so maybe not. Now, look at what's happening here. I guess you are in the Juno ult, so I'll take that back. And you guys didn't realize that the Mercy was reviving. I don't blame you. A lot of these things can be a little bit hectic, and now the soldier's probably dead. Now here comes another ult. Your Torb and Juno are a little far in, while you're over here. Alright, now you're walking at the team here. Keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. You're wasting a lot of utility here. That's the only thing. Your supports are wasting a lot of utility. That Torb needs to come back. He got saved by the Juno. Now, the only thing that I noticed about this specific push here is there was a lot of utility used. A lot of cooldowns. I mean, look at this. You're using a bubble on a Torb when you don't need to. The Ana had to nade. The Torb almost died, and the Juno had to put down her speed ring. Albeit, it was a good push. You push them back in their spawn, but now you're going to give up all this map control, and you're going to go back. How did I know? Are you going to go all the way back to the point? Okay, you're going to move back to the choke. I like that you inherently move back to the choke. That is good. I like this. The only thing is the soldier, with you not having a lot of movement, no movement, went yourself, and the only movement abilities on your team are the Ashe and the Juno. You're not really going to have much of an answer to this soldier on high ground if he doesn't. Okay, I assumed that he would stay up there and sort of peek around the corner instead of coming out entirely. But yeah, that's that. Yeah, okay. If that soldier had stayed up there in that doorway a little while longer, he probably could have gotten a few picks, maybe one or two. Maybe that Ashe stays out a little too long and he gets her. But it did not pan out that way. Now you've got a Sombra now, and you see that Sombra. Nice job, nice work.
My duty is being done.
Now, unfortunately, the Mercy gets that revive off, and you're chasing this Sombra. Now, I know I just went back to your POV, but look where you are here. What are you doing all the way over here? I know you want to chase the Sombra, but at some point you've got to realize that it's not worth it. When you got to here and when you saw her leaving, you should have been like, okay, I need to go back to my team. You are not a dive tank, and that is exactly what you're doing right now. You're gonna go back now, and maybe your team survives this. Maybe you get back in time. The Bob helps you here. Not a bad ult. Again, not much you could have done there with the Nano. I would avoid, if you're going to try to play Zarya more, I would avoid using Zarya's ult on a tank, especially Reinhardt with his shield. Maybe I would have gone and tried to ult the Mercy. The Mercy seems to be doing a lot for their team. And then maybe the Sombra, if you really wanted the Sombra. What's up, Michael? Welcome to the stream. We're watching a Gold 2 tank VOD. And there goes your entire team. So there goes your Ana, your Ashe, with the Nano Reinhardt, and now he's gonna pin in, or not. He's gonna fight you a little bit more. And there you go. Here he comes. He gets that Torb, and the Torb dies. So let's go back and sort of I wanna analyze this a little bit. I wanna analyze this team fight a little bit more. Now it might just be they had better ult usage than you did. But let's watch this from like a bird's eye view here. Let's watch what happens here. Notice how your team is all the way back. So here you go. Now, had you have been over here, do I think that that loss of a team fight is necessarily your fault? No, I do not. However, if you'd have been over here maybe a little bit earlier, I think you could have stopped this Reinhardt from maybe being as aggressive as he was. But again, there's nothing really much you could have done as you were over on the other side of this building. Yeah, so the Sombra just now switched. So what's been happening is the main thing that I've noticed is this Zarya goes in and sort of leaves her team behind, albeit they go back quite often, but they leave their team sort of out in the open while they're sort of doing their own thing and trying to dive or brawl when their entire team is a poke. Other than the Juno. So now you all here kind of, I will say this was a wasted ult. This Reinhardt, you're not going to do much to a Reinhardt in general as Zarya, so ulting him really doesn't make much sense, especially when he gets nanoed in 2 seconds. And then your entire team, you just get team wiped here. So, again, this is more sort of, you're playing into a counter, and I don't necessarily think that you or your team is good enough to really help you out a lot. Now that way, you've been having some decent holds here. You've got them down to 223. I've held it longer periods of time than this, so it is definitely possible. So again, look where you are here. You guys got the Reinhardt, but I guarantee you that this Mercy is going to come up and instantly revive because you're not going to be able to go forward. You're not really playing. Your team isn't really playing with you now. Now the soldier switch might be able to help you a little bit more, but you on Zarya right now with this comp, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot. You're going to be the only priority on your in your team right now is you. Your entire team is all the way back here or behind this wall. The Torp turret's over there for whatever reason. And then, look, everyone on their team, other than maybe the soldier, is going to be looking at you, and I guarantee you, he swaps to you in a matter of 2 seconds. And now he goes for the Torp, and there we go. There we go. The Reinhardt gets revived. Nothing you can do about it because your team is a totally different comp than you, and again, you're not able to go in and sort of stop that revive from happening. Now, I don't think that this Mercy has been punished for reviving this entire game, and it's just not necessarily your fault. It's sort of a team issue here, where your team either needs to swap for you, or you need to swap for your team. Not an awful Torb ult. I like it. I like it. Now you're sort of walking at the team here. You got them. You're rolling them. You're rolling them. Nice. Good. 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 Don't get too overzealous, soldier. Come on back, buddy. And look at that. Look at that. So this isn't necessarily on you, but it's something I want you to realize here. So let's go back and let's watch this push here. We're gonna speed it up here. So we get the soldier. Now, something I didn't necessarily notice, Sombra's back here. We'll have to watch what she does. But so let's watch this push here. Is the Sombra... Okay, I know I said we were going to watch this push, but, actually, we'll watch her afterwards. But, watch this push here. So, you're rolling them, you get the Ana, and you guys keep going in. At least the soldier does. This is their spawn. And I think you realize that because you don't go much further. But look at your soldier here. Your soldier, and most people in gold and any really like relatively low rank, like silver or bronze or gold, even high gold, and even plat. I've seen plat players push up to their spawn and get absolutely rolled because it's their spawn. You know, they've got. You know, it's going to be harder to hold a team in a spawn than it is to hold them back here at this choke or that one. But and then watch here. Your soldier stays up there for a little too long. You realize that you shouldn't go in that far. And look at this. 1, 2. Two cooldowns used when you could have not used any. And now here comes the Mercy. She's going to revive the Ana, which is kind of a wasted revive. She's going to be back soon anyway, and their spawn is right there. But hey, not your team. So, and now look at this, the Sombra. So I want to see what the Sombra does. She gets there a little late. I know that. So this isn't necessarily on you guys. Maybe one person should have stayed back. But that Torp turret notices her. Now she's a little late to getting on the point. Wasted her virus there. Pushes it a little ways. And no one on your team notices. Nobody noticed that. Maybe the Torb did, but nobody noticed that she pushed that. If she could have been there a little bit sooner, she probably couldn't have got it around this corner here. That's something to be aware of, too. I've noticed even in plat games, people don't realize that the Sombra's behind them or the Tracer's behind them pushing point. I've done it multiple times where I push it all the way from here, where the team is all the way up there holding in the spawn, and I'm pushing this cart all the way through, and nobody realizes. That's something that, if you're going to play tank, if you're going to play Zarya, you've got to realize it is partially... Now, Zarya is really good against a Sombra because you don't have to aim. You have to aim a beam, not projectiles or bullets. So... if you have full charge, that Zarya, that Sombra is not going to stand a chance against you. And nothing happened because you realized a little late, but just something to keep in mind that Sombras, especially in gold and silver, are going to have free range when it comes to your team is rolling theirs and you don't realize that they're on point. So just a little something to add. Kind of a wasted bubble again. You're not going to get much charge from this. Let's see if you get any charge, actually. Where are you here? Here we go. You're at 23, and you get no charge. Again, wasted bubble there. Your bubbles are your best friend, obviously, because they're her only cooldowns, and obviously are win-lose situations whether or not you have them as Zarya, especially when you're at 15 charge. Now look what's happening here. Let me go back, and we're gonna go back out here. Let's watch what happens here. Let's watch your team. You have no bubbles, remember. Now this is sort of something I've noticed in gold to silver, even plat tanks that I've played with, that I've watched. This thing here. I'm not gonna say what it is. And now before we go on, I want you to, if you do watch this VOD, I want you to think what's happening here. We're gonna go all the way over here, and we're gonna watch your team. We're gonna watch what happens here. Keep in mind you have no bubbles at this point. So here comes their team, and what's happening? What's happening here? pause the video and think. You're just backing up. You're backing up. You give up all this space when if you had your bubbles, perhaps you could have held that a little better. Perhaps this Ana wouldn't be frontlining because you could have been up close. But look where you are compared to your team. There goes your Juno. Now, the Soldier's going to ult here, and I think he's going to get 2 or 3 people. There goes the Ana. Now, had you have your bubbles, maybe this would have been differently. But again, with this Reinhardt here, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to be able to help your team. You're not getting value, the same value you could have gotten had they stayed Zarya, had they played D.va, had they played any other tank other than Reinhardt. You would be getting a lot more value, but you're really not helping your team here by just backing up because you can't get you're not able to do anything against this Reinhardt. The Soldier just killed both of your supports because you are not able to break this barrier as fast with Zarya. You have no charge. Reinhardt does not charge Zarya as well as someone like D.va or Malga would, or Orisa would. So, again, you're all the way over here. Your DPS are over here. Your Soldier dies in 0.5 seconds. There we go. Your Torbjorn is over here. Your supports are just now coming back, and there's nothing you can do about it because you are playing Zarya into a Reinhardt and are unable to counter him due to that. From what I've seen, you are not aggressive enough. Your team is also not aggressive enough to play a more brawl comp with you. So what I would have swapped a lot sooner. And now you're gonna get rolled by this. Yeah, you're gonna get rolled by this Reinhardt here. Maybe not. Here he comes, and there we go. There goes your Juno. And there goes your team. And they cap the point. So, at the end of the first round here, the biggest thing that I've noticed is the value you're getting out of playing Zarya is lackluster at best. Yes, you are punishing the Reinhardt when you can, but other than that, there's not a whole lot you can do. So, we're just going to speed up time here. Alright. So you're playing D.va now. Okay, we get a little emote there. Oh, another emote. Let's do a skin check here. Skin check real quick. Let's see this D.va skin. Mid at best. I will I will rip into your D.va skins. I do like the little bag of D.vas here. But come on, there's better skins. What am I doing? Why did I swap? Okay. So now, had your team gone Mei last round, I think maybe you would have had a better chance. But now you've got a Mei on their team, and that's something to watch out for as well. I haven't seen your D.va gameplay yet, but that Mei, any good Mei is going to target the absolute hell out of a D.va. So we'll see what happens here.
3, 2, 1.
And I before we get into this, I think I know how you're going to play this already, just by watching your Zarya plays. Now there's a Mei wall there, and instead of taking an off angle, you shoot the Mei wall. You do have boosters, so we're gonna go and watch. I tend to watch from above, as I feel like that just gives a better idea of what's going on here. Now, do I necessarily blame you for shooting this? No. That's just an example of, use some of your cooldowns to maybe get up on a high ground, somewhere where this Reinhardt can't get you. But again, I feel like I know what you're going to do here. Yep. What are you doing right now? I want you to think about this right now. What are you doing that is helping your team? The tank is discorded, and you're let's just before I talk about it. Let's watch this a little bit more. So again, I was correct. You're playing D.va like you would play Orisa. In the entirety of this team fight, you have not used your boosters. You have not gone to dive any of their supports, and you haven't dived this. What I would do right now, look at where their team is. Look at this Mei. This Mei is out of position. Go for the Mei. I will bet you anything that you just stand here and you shoot her from long range and use your DM, and we'll talk about your DM after this team fight. We'll go back and watch this from your point of view. Again, use your boosters. Why are you not using your boost? You go in here, D.va has an amazing amount of burst damage potential, and you're not using it. You're just sort of standing here, shooting into the lamppost with your micro missiles. And look where you're at, right. You're taking a flank, right? Where's your team at? Your team. This is just something that you need to be aware of, especially when you're playing D.va, where your team is at all times, because your job as D.va is to dive their backline to give the DPS an opportunity to take out anyone that you can't at that specific time. So let's see how this pans out. You're forced to run back. You use your boosters to run back. I don't hate that. But here comes the Reinhardt. The Reinhardt is walking at your team now, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now that's a good Mei wall. That's just unfortunate that their Mei was able to use her wall to boost the Rein up and get him out of there. Now your Pharah, I will mention, is playing into a soldier, so we'll see how this gold 2 Pharah goes into the soldier. But let's watch you. That's what we're here for. There goes your Zen. The only way that US D.va are going to kill this Reinhardt is if everyone on your team shoots him when he is discorded and your Rein is dead. And I think what you're going to do here is your team. Notice where your team is. Look where you are. Look who's shooting at your team. Look at where they are. Look at where the Mei is. And look at where their team is. So now the Reinhardt maybe doesn't realize that. Oh, he does. He does realize that you are shooting the Mei. And again, we're gonna get to a certain point. I'm not sure exactly where. Maybe to the end of this team fight, which I foresee in the near future. Seeing as how the soldier is unchallenged, other than by the Mei and maybe the Pharah in your backline right now, while you are over here fighting a pocketed Mei, and the Reinhardt gets you at the pin here. Nope, he misses. So that's on my part. And again, you're using your boosters to run away. You're still standing in front of the Reinhardt. So actually, before we get too far into this, this is the end of the team fight. I can tell already. Maybe not. No, the Reinhardt stays alive. So, okay, we'll say that's the end of that team fight. We're going to go back and we're going to watch this from your point of view. Okay, where are we at here? All right.
Defend objective A.
So, the hell? What are you doing up there? I am not gonna ask. All right. So let's see where you are here. So now your DM usage, kind of pointless there. You have both of your supports on you, sort of a waste of your resource there. But let's see here. Now again, you're shooting the Mei wall. What are you doing from this range? You're really not doing anything. No, look. Now this is a range where D.va is gonna be viable against anybody. And look at that. You're doing a lot of damage there. Shred him. Yep. And then he gets away. And now you're standing in front of their entire team, and you lose all your health, and your supports are forced to heal you here. Again, before we go any further, we're gonna go back and we're gonna look at this. Look at where you are. What are you doing from this range? You're doing absolutely nothing. Look at their health. You're shooting them, and they're not losing health because you're so far away from them. And you're wasting your DM there. You waste half of your DM there. And get Mei walled, and then move forward past the Mei wall. And luckily, your supports are able to keep you alive during that. And again, let's go back here. I'm gonna watch. Let's look at your DM usage here. So, you're using it. Now that's when I would have used it. I noticed that I would have noticed that I would have gotten walled. So I'm using my DM until that wall goes away, until my supports or DPS can break that wall. And now you're using it again. You're using it, you're looking into a wall, and there's nothing shooting at you. And you are micro-missiling a wall. You're lucky that you had your DM up and you were able to eat that sleep. But again, you used your micro missiles on a wall. When you could, I believe with all my heart that you could have killed that Reinhardt there if you had your micro missiles. He is discorded and is half health. More or less. While your entire team is looking at him, but he gets away. And there you go, you use your micro missiles, and that's just an unfortunate turn of events there where the Mei gets him up. So, okay, well, I'll let this play out here. We've already seen this, but... Okay, so let's pause here and talk for a little while. You are playing what I like to call Velociraptor D.va. It's the same as Ground Pharah or Ground Mercy. You aren't using your movement abilities to the extent of which you should be. D.va's booster cooldown is so short for how powerful it is. You can go in and get out in a matter of a few seconds. And in those few seconds, that's enough to kill 2 or 3 people. Now, obviously, maybe you're not going to be able to get that much value in a gold game until you sort of realize cooldown usage, until you realize alt counting. Right now, you can see in the top right corner, they're going to have Soldier alt, they're going to have On alt, they're going to have Reinhardt alt, they're going to have Mei alt. That's just something to pay attention to, and as you climb, you're going to realize that, okay, this person is close to alt, I shouldn't go in at this time. Until we get that person, or until they use that alt, I shouldn't go in. Now, Mei alt, that is going to be your worst enemy, as anybody on your team should be scared to death of that Mei, because she counters you directly. She slows you down, not that it would matter, because you aren't using your boost. You need to be boosting around, you need to be running around like you're on thousands and thousands of pounds of caffeine. You need to be running around like crazy. Don't just stand still. You're standing still in front of their entire team. You're playing D.va like Reinhardt. You aren't playing D.va. You're playing Reinhardt. Essentially, you're standing in front of their team. Now, I would try to play cover here a little bit more. Again, you got very, very lucky there that Mei got scared. Now you have your call mech. Call your mech. Call your mech. There we go. There we go. There we go. You dove in. Something I noticed about that, you dove in. Very good. Except their entire team was already in your face. And you sort of wasted your boosters. Your boosters are on a 4-second cooldown again. Remember that. You can use that 4 times. I mean, you can use that every 4 to 5 seconds or so, give or take. You boosted into their entire team, and half your team is dead, more or less. Maybe this far it gets this May, but had you have just not had boosted in there and just used your micro missiles, I believe that would have been enough to sort of scare off that Reinhardt. And you would still be in the same boat you were, but then you have 4 seconds to where you can't use your boosts. And she does not. Now here comes the nano-boosted Pharah, who just used her ult. I think it would have been better to nano-boost you, but that's besides the point. Now I know exactly what you're going to do here. You're going to shoot the Reinhardt. You go to point. Here comes the nano-boosted Reinhardt. Let's look at this again. Well, I want you to look at this. Let's go back here. So, let's watch. You're a little late on your call mech. I get, the Mei ulted, whatever, it's fine. That was a good Mei wall on your Mei's part. Unfortunately, she died. So again, let's go back. We're gonna slow it down here. Speed it up, actually. We're a little too far back. Let's watch you here. So you get out of that. Now we're going to slow it down. We're going to go to 0.25. So this would have been fine. The Reinhardt was already backing up, but you fly into their team and shoot your own Zen. Had you... Now something that's a little bit advanced, albeit not super. You could have canceled your boosts if you press the button again. You can cancel your boost, and you can stop wherever you are. What I would have done, now I wouldn't have necessarily noticed that this soldier was going to kill this Zen, but this is just sort of a gold push here, where their entire team is sort of running at yours, and there's nothing you can do about it. Just because of the positioning on your team, sort of the positioning of where you're holding, that's just the luck of the draw there. But let's watch you again. Let's watch. So again, you're spinning around in circles, flying around. The Pharah sort of wasted her ult there. Not really much you can do about that. So you're pushing in. Look at where you are. Look at where your team is. Your Zen is dead. Your Mei is dead. I don't remember if your Pharah survives this or not. But anyway, watch. You're alone, and you dive in. Now your Ana is staying with you, which good for her. And then she looks away. So you are flying in. You're gonna come over here. You're going to come over there. What was your plan here? I really want to know what your plan here was. As you fly in, you use your boosters, which you haven't used them aggressively all game until this specific team fight. You haven't used them all game. What are you shooting at right now? I don't think that you realize that you can cancel your boosters, and I hope that you watch this VOD in its entirety, and you realize that you can cancel your boost. I don't hate that you came to point, that you're trying to touch point, but you have 2 minutes and 11 seconds to do so. I think that if you would have regrouped with your team, maybe dove this Ana or dove this Mercy, you could have gotten the kills. but instead you dove to point without your team. Your Pharah is chasing a soldier. We'll see if she gets him. But here comes... Now, I think that this Ana nano boosted this tank just to nano boost the tank to get you. Now, she does get the soldier. Had you have waited over here, I don't think that their team would have necessarily gotten you. And now you ult here. This is a 100% wasted ult. You definitely wasted your ult here. That's never going to get a kill. And you die immediately. That was poor positioning on your part, and, you know, not to be that person, but that was entirely your fault. And I don't, you didn't blame anyone on your team for this loss. You generally wanted feedback, so that's what I'm telling you here. That was a wasted ult. You ruined this push for your team by doing that. Now you're going to be in spawn for 5 to 10 seconds while your entire team is already respawned, and you could have gone in and maybe gotten the point. So now that you ran in, got yourself killed, now you're going to have to your team is going to have to survive against their entire team. You got no kills. Now, look at this. Their team is being extremely passive now. If I was this Reinhardt, man, I'd be all over you guys. Because you're just now coming back. He could have killed your entire team. But luckily, your Zen is doing something. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he's doing something. He's got a plan. Here you come. You used your boost. I love to see it. You used your boost to come back. Now you're on a 4-second cooldown. Use it again. Use it again. Nope. Ah, you got the kill. Nice kill. Good kill. Good kill. Walk at their team. Walk at their team. Walk at their team. Yep. Nope. Alright, let's watch here. Let's watch what went wrong here. Who didn't realize that the Mercy was coming back? The fact that the Reinhardt only got one with his ult is extremely lucky. Any other Reinhardt, I feel like, would have gotten them all. That was a very good shatter on his part. Now, look. I don't necessarily think it was anyone's fault. I think that you all got lost in the fight, didn't realize that the Mercy was still alive. Anytime that someone dies, especially the tank on the enemy team, you need to be watching that death spot, watch that soul, and get that Mercy, jump the Mercy. Your entire team needs to jump that Mercy. And now that you're over here, fighting both the supports and now the tank, the soldier's going to get your entire team. Yep, there you go. The soldier got your entire team, other than the Mei, or other than the Ana, and you. He gets you here too. The Reinhardt got you. So let's talk about this. I think you did an excellent job with your micro missiles and getting that Reinhardt. If you're going to try to go for a Reinhardt, you need to use all of your mobility. You need to use all of your cooldowns and get that Reinhardt out of there. And on any person, that Reinhardt is a walking wall, especially in this rank when most tanks are just going to walk at you. Now, I wouldn't have necessarily gone back. I would have realized, oh, she's reviving. I don't see the Ana. She must be with her. Okay, I'm going to regroup with my team. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to high ground. I'm going to go up here. Oh, wait, the soldier's ulting? I'm going to DM his ult. I'm going to remove him from the playfield. I'm going to maybe get that kill. I'm going to maybe let my team get that kill. And then maybe your team survives, and maybe you have a chance against the resurrected Reinhardt. Now your Mei goes back with your team. Good job. Another thing to be aware of when you're playing against a Reinhardt is if you get close to him, you can punch through the shield, and if the Reinhardt is low, you can get that kill. Now that's just rude on the mace part. Alright, here we go. Let's see. So, let's talk about this, what just happened right there. Again, you're playing Orisa D.va. You're playing Velociraptor D.va. You're not doing anything from that range other than being the team punching bag. Again, exactly what I had said previously when you were playing Zarya on the first round. You are essentially the team punching bag. If you are not being aggressive, if your team is not being aggressive and going in, I don't necessarily think that is an aggression issue. I think you are just unaware of how to get the full value out of your character here. I did a VOD review yesterday of another D.va, and I suggest that you go watch that. They are in a similar boat to you, and where they just sort of stand in front of the enemy team and don't do much. And that's not to bring you down or anything, but you aren't doing anything. You are doing no damage. You are the team punching bag. And something that I drilled into the last VOD review I did, don't shoot the tank. Don't shoot the tank. As D.va, you should not be shooting the tank unless they are low. Unless that your entire team is on them, is, just absolutely demolishing their team, then shoot the tank. Especially, you should not be in front of a Reinhardt as D.va. You should be, let me show you where you could be as D.va and getting some value. You could be here, pressuring a little bit. If they were over here, you could pressure them. If you were over here, you could move over here. You can move over here. You could be over here. You should be taking off angles as D.va. You are not a face tank. D.va is not a face tank, and that is exactly what you're doing. And frankly, I don't, when I'm watching other people play the game, I don't like to say, oh, you're throwing, but you are throwing for your team here by not taking these off angles, by not doing your job. You are doing Orisa's job. You are doing Reinhardt's job. You're doing Zarya's job. Zarya can face tank, but D.va cannot. Now, something else I want to talk about, again, stop shooting the tank, target priority. I want to talk about this real quick. Who on their team would be top priority for you as D.va? Obviously, this person right here. This person. This nasty little gremlin-looking Mercy should be your first priority. She has gotten so many revives off. This should be a world record for the amount of revives a Mercy has gotten off in one game. It's ridiculous how many revives she's gotten off. You should be targeting the living hell out of this Mercy. The next person, I would go for, obviously, the Ana. She can sleep you, she can sleep your team, she can anti your team. Go for the Ana. Now, obviously, you need to be aware that when you go and dive the Ana, you need to realize that, oh, she can sleep me, DM the sleep. Use your DM. Now, what I like to do is I play a little bit of Ana, so I know Ana's sort of cues here. So as soon as I go in to this Ana, I'm going to DM. As soon as I go in. Because 9 times out of 10, that Ana is going to try to sleep you, especially in gold, especially in silver, even in plat, even in diamond. Any Ana is going to try to sleep you immediately because they don't want to lose any health. They don't want to die. So they're going to sleep immediately. DM them, get them, micro-missile them, fly at them, whatever you need to do, get that kill. Boom. Then I would go for the soldier. I would avoid this Mei at all costs. Mei is the bubonic plague. Avoid Mei. Do not go near Mei. If you can, stay up on high ground when you're fighting a Mei. Really, King's Row, I honestly like King's Row for D.Va. There's a lot of high ground, a lot of places. I would go up here, pressure this tank here. He can't hit you, other than his fire strikes, which you can DM, and you've done it plenty of times before. Use this little green thing above your head, and DM them. DM the fire strikes, stay up on high ground, micro missile his shield to get that shield health down. Maybe your team can push in and get that shield all the way down and get that kill. But again, Mercy, Ana, Soldier, avoid Mei at all cost. Here comes the Mei ult. And there you go. Let's look at what happened here. So Mei ults, gets nobody other than you. You fly up. Not a bad idea. But look where you are. You were already somewhat low health. Actually, let's go back and we're going to see what health you were at here. Again, I cannot drive this point home more any harder. Stop shooting from so far away. Yesterday, the D.Va that I watched would shoot from halfway across the map, and you are no different. It is no different from here, from a few meters away, to all the way in your spawn. If you were shooting this Reinhardt, you would be doing the same amount of damage. None. Absolutely none. Excuse me. So, alright. So here comes the Mei ult. Let's watch what you do here. So here it comes. Excellent ult by the Mei. And now, the reason why I say that's an excellent ult by the Mei, and there's nobody in it, watch what happens to you. You freak out. You fly all the way up in the air. You get frozen. Maybe, just maybe, you make it up to this high ground, but I doubt it. I don't think you would have made it to the high ground in time. But look at that. You're half health. Your entire team is over here. There's nothing you can do about that. That is entirely on you. You should have realized that your team was going to go behind, or maybe, not flown into their team. And then here you go. And you stand still. I don't blame you for that. Nothing you can really do there. But again, that was entirely on you. That was not your team. Again, you didn't blame your team, which props to you on that. But now, because you flew into their team, flew into the Reinhardt, away from your team gets rolled here. Surprisingly, their team is not being as aggressive as I would imagine they would be. There goes the Mei. So now again, what are you DMing here? What are you DMing? I think what's happening here is you don't know that you're able to cancel your boost. So I sincerely hope that you watch this all the way through and you realize that you can cancel your boost. You micro missile. Let's actually go back and let's watch what happens here. So you come back. Now what I would have done, I would have flown up there. Just me. But so you're walled. What happens here? You get scared, you run away. Okay. Now maybe that was just a frame that I saw your DM, but again, you should have flown up over the wall and you would have been fine. But now again, you are in front of their entire team. Nothing you can really do about that. Your supports are putting all they can into you. All right. Now you go for the late game ult, and let's look at this. Let's watch how you ult here. Now we're gonna watch it in slow-mo again. So I wanna watch what's happening here. Let's say that this ult gets 2 people. This all gets 2 people. Let's say it gets the Mercy and the Ana. It gets the Mercy and the Ana. Look who's still alive. Soldier and Mei. Mei was going to survive that ult no matter what. But look what's happening over here. As you run in and you place your ult down, which again, you know, in late game alts, I'm all for them. Game-winning alts. But look what's happening. Your team isn't there to help you. Your team is fighting the nanoed Reinhardt. That Reinhardt is going to die. If this game went any longer, he would have died. But look what's happening here. Look what's happening. You've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, you've got 4 people shooting at you, baby D.va. You're not going to be able to do anything. And, I mean, you're already dead. So, this ult, again, a wasted ult. And we'll talk about what I'm noticing after we finish these last 6 seconds. And the major reason why I believe you only ulted twice. You only got ult twice. And if I'm wrong there, I apologize. But again, a wasted ult. You were never going to get anybody with that. But yeah, let's just watch this through. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go back now, and I'm going to talk to you about what I'm seeing and what I think you can improve on. So let's find you here. All right. First, let's talk about your Zarya. Swap. As soon as you see a Reinhardt, swap. I know you said that you don't necessarily want to counter swap. Just swap. If you really want to climb on tank, I believe that tank is the only role that if you want to climb on, you have to know how to play over half of the characters in that specific role. You are not going to climb past Plat 5 if you don't know how to play more than 1 or 2 tanks. And from what I'm seeing right now, let me actually check what you said here. You are gold 2. I will say this, and I mean no offense by this. I am surprised you are gold 2. With the way that you maybe you're better on Sigma or Orisa, but the way you play is not how you play. D.va or Zarya, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you could have done better had your team not been playing poke while you played brawl. And I think you did a good job. I think you did a good job in this first hold here. I think you guys did a good job because you guys were playing so close together, because their team had nowhere else to go. Their team had nowhere to go. It was enclosed. Your team couldn't leave you behind as they backed up. But as soon as they swapped to Reinhardt, you should have been like, okay, as soon as I go down, I'm going to swap to Orisa. I'm going to swap to Ramatra. I'm going to swap to D.va. Even in low ranks, D.va is viable against a Reinhardt, especially on this map. I think in general, D.va is viable against a Reinhardt because Reinhardt has no vertical mobility. He sits on the ground and he throws his fire strikes. He dives in, not dives. He rushes in and has a shield. D.va is extremely viable against a Reinhardt, but again, we're talking about your Zarya playthrough, your play here. Let me think here. If what you should, I think you could have held them a little bit better when your team was getting your team was just feeding over and over and over again with after you lost the first control point. And again, I didn't realize that you had seen the soldier there. Had you have been playing D.Va, or someone with vertical mobility, you could have gotten that soldier. That's just unfortunate in that specific instance. That was the only really time that I would have said that maybe you could have done better on Zarya. This part here specifically, I want to talk about you kind of, this was just a feed for your team here. They ult you, you die immediately. There's nothing you can do there. That was just, 3 people fed the team, and, nothing you can do there. Trying to think of anything else with Zarya. Other than realize that your team is playing a poke comp while you're playing Brawl and it's not working. Maybe it's time to swap. Bubble usage. That's another thing. You're wasting. I noticed you wasted your bubbles quite often, and maybe you could have been a little bit more aggressive with your bubble usage and been up close. If you're gonna play Zarya into a Reinhardt, you got to be aggressive. But as we go on here, I'll watch and see if I see anything specifically. But other than swapping to sort of play with your team a little better, there's nothing really that I can say about your Zarya gameplay, I don't main Zarya, so the best thing I can offer you is swap. Realize that, hey, Zarya isn't working. We got to figure something else out. And because I don't necessarily think that the loss on the first point was necessarily your fault, but I definitely think that you contributed as a team to this. On a team scale, I should say. You contributed on a team scale to the fact that you weren't getting value. So in turn, your DPS were the only ones that were able to really do anything, and again, they weren't really doing a whole lot. Due to the fact that you weren't able to make space for your team as the Reinhardt was just bullying you with his shield. Moving on to D.Va. Wow. I see way too many D.Vas sit on the ground with their little T-Rex arms for guns, just shooting at them like they're Widowmaker. D.Va has essentially shotguns. That is D.Va in her entirety, shotguns. Play D.Va like you have shotguns. Shoot them in front of their faces, get as close as you can. Albeit, don't shoot the tank. Don't shoot the tank. Never should you be shooting the tank unless the enemy tank is diving you. If you're playing another D.Va, don't shoot the tank. If you think you can kill the tank, if the tank is low, shoot the tank. But if this person's playing Reinhardt, don't shoot the tank. Ignore him. Leave him to the DPS. If you left the tank to the DPS, I think you would have won. I think that if you would have been aggressive and actually used your boost to dive the backline, I think you would have won. I genuinely think you would have won. D.Va is so good. She's amazing. But you weren't using her to her full potential. It's the same with Zarya. You weren't able to use her to your full potential due to one reason or another. But we'll talk about your DM usage here. I noticed a lot of times you were sort of using it to just use it, or you weren't using it at all. If you need to get back somewhere, back up a little bit. If you don't have your boost, if your boost is on cooldown, use your DM. I didn't notice anything specifically where you were trying to DM the Reinhardt strikes or you're trying to DM the Mei beam. So that's good. I think you realize that D.Va can't eat everything. and that's what I would expect out of a gold player. But like I said before, I am surprised you are this high in gold. And I would not be surprised if you fall back down if you continue to play like this on D.va. If you want to keep playing D.va, I would suggest watching D.va tips and tricks. Just look that up on YouTube. I'm sure you can find it. My biggest suggestion, don't shoot the tank. I don't know how hard I can push this idea. Don't shoot the tank. If you are shooting the tank, that leaves the entirety of the enemy team, especially if you're facing a Reinhardt, that leaves the entirety of the enemy team to do whatever the hell they want. You should be taking space on D.va, not by shooting the tank, not by sitting in front of your team and face tanking, but by going up on high ground, by taking angles, by realizing where your team is, and you can play. Let me amend my statements here. You can play with your team on D.va, but not like you were. You were entirely face tank. Reinhardt is going to, excuse my language, beat the ever-living shit out of you if you stand in front of him on D.va. You have no answer to him. Now, this specific point right here, you could have killed him there had you have had your team with you and he hadn't have gone back. But that Reinhardt knows exactly where he is. He knows exactly where he needs to be. And that's something I noticed about you. You didn't know where you needed to be. You kind of just sat here. Look at how much damage you're doing to that Mei. Literally nothing. Had you flown in there, maybe you could have gotten the kill. If you would have hit that Ana a little bit more there, you could have gotten that Ana. But again, your micro missile usage, your aim needs to be improved if you're going to play D.va. I would be interested to see how you play Sigma or Orisa, because with the way you're playing right now, I think that is how you got to gold, is by playing those two tanks, because they can face tank to a certain extent. Orisa more than Sigma. But my suggestion is to watch some YouTube videos if you really want to learn how to play D.va. Realize that you can dive. Just dive. Again, target priority needs to be something that you focus on, and sort of realize that, okay, I shouldn't be shooting the tank. I should not be shooting the tank in these certain circumstances. And that's going to be something that comes with time. You said you played Overwatch 1, which, honestly, I don't know if you're, if you would say you were hard stuck, but if you're still silver and gold and you've been playing since Overwatch 1, I would say you're hard stuck, and that is the reason why. Your positioning needs a little bit, not a little bit, needs a lot of work. Your target priority needs a lot of work. Now we see here, now this specific example here, where the Mercy got the revive off, you got distracted with the Mei. Ignore the Mei. You don't hear this very often in a lot of guides. Ignore. You should be, as D.va, ignore the Reinhardt, ignore the Mei to a certain extent. Now, if the Mei's coming at you and she wants you, get her. You're a tank. You should be able to kill that Mei if she doesn't have her team with her. Now, if she has her team with her, that's when you run away. D.va can do that. Another thing is your ult usage needs to be improved. The only time that I ever use D.va ult aggressively is if I'm absolutely rolling the team and I know I won't need it to remake. The only time that I'm using my ult is when I'm remaking. So what I do is I'm going in there, I'm being aggressive, and I realize, oh, I'm not going to make it back to my team in time. and I'm at 150 health. Okay, I'm going to ult now. Maybe try to get a pick on them. If I don't, oh well. I'm able to get back in time because I have 700 health again. And, you know, that's sort of the luck of the draw of whether or not the enemy team really wants to sit in front of a D.Va bomb. But actually, we're going to stop it right there. We're going to stop this right here. I want you to... I didn't even notice this. What just happened? You just got nanoed. You got nanoed, and you ulted. What happened there? Where did that nano go? Let's see. Still here. If you would have stayed in your mech, I think you could have gotten these people. I think you could have gotten all 4. Your Juno's here. I think you could have gotten all 4. Albeit you would have been anti'd, but you were nanoed. You could have gotten all 4 here. Wow. I didn't even notice that. I think that if you played this perfectly, you could have gotten all 4 of them here. Let's go back here, and we're gonna watch this play here. We're gonna watch this again. So here you come. You've got 15 seconds. You go in. You fly in. Okay, you get slept. Instantly woken up, and you ult. Here's what I would have done. You wasted your micro missiles. Here comes the Juno. The Juno's helping you out here. Now, you were at a good chunk of mech health. Would you have gotten demeched? Possibly. But I think you could have gotten the Mercy before you got demeched. I think you could have gotten maybe the Soldier or the Ana before you got demeched. But instead, you chose to ult. Do I necessarily blame you for that? No. Maybe you didn't know that you lose. To clarify what I'm saying here, when you ult as D.Va and you are nanoed in that ult, you lose that nano. You are no longer nanoed when you get out. See? You are no longer nanoed. I think you would have survived. I think that if you played this exactly how it should have been played, and you should have gone, as I said, for her, look at her. She's smiling at you. She knows she's got you beat. For her, for him, and then her, I think you would have won. I genuinely think that with that nano, if you would have saved your micro missiles, you could have gotten her. If you would have headshotted her the entire time, you could have gotten her. I think you could have stayed on point long enough to have contested, and maybe this Reinhardt comes back. Or maybe this Reinhardt dies. Maybe this Juno is able to touch for long enough that your team kills that Reinhardt. They come in, you cap point, you keep pushing. It's just unfortunate that it panned out that way and that you ulted at that time. But again, you could have had your ult for a longer period of time, for more. You could have had your ult more had you have been closer with. I think you're aware of how this game works. The more damage you do, some of the damage you take, you're going to build ult charge. During team fights, you're going to build ult charge. By sitting halfway across the map or over D.Va's range, you're not building any ult charge. D.Va's ult is one of the strongest in the game if you use it correctly. If you use it to remech, there's nothing their team can do. You have essentially 3 lives as D.Va with ult. With your ult, you have 3 lives. 1, your original mech. 2, Baby D.Va, which Baby D.Va, people sleep on Baby D.Va. Baby D.Va is strong if you know how to play Baby D.Va. She has no cooldowns. But if you're able to hit headshots, it's essentially Mercy. It is essentially Mercy. You can hit headshots, you're good. You're golden. And then the third life is you have that third mech. But I don't think, when you were playing Zarya, I don't think that it was a necessarily, just to sort of bring everything together here, this game was a team effort. You lost this due to a team effort on, at least in the beginning. The Zarya, when you played Zarya on first round, that was entirely a team effort there. Your team was not playing to help you, and you were not playing to help your team. At that point, I would have swapped to a poke tank, preferably Ramatra. If you don't know how to play Ramatra, my best advice is to learn. Like I said before, you've got to realize that if you want to climb high, you're going to have to learn to swap. You're going to have to counter swap. I know you said you don't want to do that, but you're going to have to counter swap. That is where Ramatra comes in. Even Ramatra could have been played with your team comp, and you could have won. But unfortunately, it didn't play out like that. D.va, my biggest suggestion, don't shoot the tank. Shoot anybody but the tank. Avoid the Mei, go to high ground, play high ground, and you win. I think if you would have played high ground, if you would have dove their team, pressured their team, pressured that Reinhardt to come back, I think you would have won. But in terms of what happened, I think that with your playstyle on D.va, that was a 100% you. That was all on you. Your team was trying their best. You made no space for your team. All you did was sit in front of the tank. And I'm sorry if this seems harsh, but that was you. That was entirely on you. That's just how it panned out. Let me look back at your post here. You do say what I could have done better as a tank to cap. Okay, what you could have done better on tank to cap first point on offense. I've said it plenty of times before. Don't shoot the tank. Shoot. Go for the Mercy. Mercy should not be able to play the game. Mercy's hate not being able to play the game. I know from experience. If Mercy can't play the game, she's swapping to Moira. She swaps to Moira, good for you. You made her swap. But if that Mercy wasn't able to play the game, she wouldn't have been able to get off a gazillion revives. For all intents and purposes, she got off 1,000,000 revives on your team. Those revives were worth $1 million. And you guys did nothing to stop them because you did not dive her. You did not target her. You shot the tank. Shooting the tank as a tank is unhealthy. That is why I absolutely hate Orisa, because that is what she is good at. She is good at turning off tanks. If you cannot beat an Orisa as a tank, I hate to say it, but I don't think you should play tank. Orisa, I think that you would have been better if you would have swapped to Orisa on first point, or maybe Ramatra. Play someone from your play style. If you want to sit in front of the enemy team and not move and not take high ground, not take angles, play Orisa, play Mauga, play Reinhardt if you want to just sit in front of their team. I don't think that's what you want to do, but that's just what I'm seeing. Let me see here. You did put up a decent fight on defense. I will give you that. It's just unfortunate that you weren't able to dive in on their team. And again, that's entirely on you. Your team was with you. If you're going to main Zarya, you're going to want to have a team comp that works with Zarya. And you're going to want to play around the team a lot more. And not play Zarya into a Reinhardt. I think that was your biggest issue there, along with your wasted ults. Every ult that I saw in this VOD was wasted. Absolutely. There was no point to ult in any of those instances. D.va, again, if you want to know what I have to say about your D.va gameplay, go back and watch everything I just said over the past hour and a half, and you'll get the gist of it. Sigma, I haven't played Sigma in a couple of seasons, but I would say Sigma would have been a good choice. Sigma's always a good choice on King's Row, and Gold especially, because they'll just shoot your grasp, and you'll get your overhealth. Boom, you're golden. Orisa, just sit in front of the enemy team, know how to use your cooldowns. I don't play Orisa, so I can't give you much on that. But I'll condense this VOD into a couple of sentences in my reply to you if you don't watch this entirely through, which I sincerely hope you do. I understand if you don't. But I hope you learn from my feedback. I hope you continue playing Overwatch. I hope you continue playing tank. We need more tank mains. I think you have very good potential. It's just you got to realize that at some point you're going to have to swap if you're not getting value, which you are not getting value on either of the tanks you played. If you wanted to, you mentioned want to change your play style. You're going to have to play around the team. You're going to have to swap. Your team was not playing Brawl, and you were playing Brawl. Your team, when you're playing D.va, was actually very good for D.va. D.va does not need a full dive comp to be successful. D.va can solo dive the enemy team and win. Hell, I do it all the time. But, like I said, I hope you learned something from my feedback. I hope that you continue playing tank. But anyway, this VOD will be available on YouTube and on Twitch. Hope everyone has a good rest of their day, and I might be streaming later. Thank you very much.